88th Masters ended with world number one Scotty Scheffler taking home a second green jacket. Welcome to another edition of ATL Prime Sports. I'm JJ Jurjevich. Joining me this evening is the PA voice of the Rome Emperors, Larry Gardner, and our fabulous producer, Wayne Ridenauer. You can find us all at ATL Prime Sports on social media, on Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube, and you can search our streaming platforms, Apple and Spotify. Just search ATL Prime Sports. Personal X's at JJ Get You One for myself, at RWY Junior for Wayne, at LG the number 4 Real though for Larry Gardner, and at Corder Todd for TC Todd Corder, who is enjoying a little bit of vacation time. Larry, how you doing, man?
Life is good up here in Northwest Georgia. JJ got a chance to take in some Georgia Tech football for their spring game on Saturday. Impressed with what Coach Key is building there and the culture he's building there. It may take him a few years to get to some national championship prominence, but he is building a good squad with a good team, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they develop. But other than that, Rome is going well, Tech is going well. It's just getting ready to wind down toward the end of the school year with the kids here in Northwest Georgia, JJ. Thank you for asking. How about you?
Man, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. Not as well as Braves designated hitter Marcell Ozuna, though, Larry. Guy's hitting, 352 after today's game with 8 home runs, which is first in Major League Baseball, 23 RBIs, also first in Major League Baseball, and he is now on a 16-game hit streak after his second inning home run. So I'm doing great, but not that well. Wayne, how are you doing, my friend?
Well, I wish I was doing as well as Max Verstappen. We've had 4 Formula One races so far this year, and he's won 3 of them in the Red Bull car. He's with that team. But Chinese Grand Prix is coming up this Sunday, and if you're a night owl, that'll be the one for you because it starts at 1 a.m. Eastern. So either set your not VCRs, nobody has those anymore, set it up to record, or stay up late and enjoy the race.
Now, that'd be cool if someone still had a VCR and recorded it the old-fashioned way. Love to see that. If you do, give us a comment. Let us know, hey, I still use my VCR. What's on tap for today's show? With just over a week until the NFL draft, we give you our mock top 10. Might as well get in on the action. And we go over the bombshell news story that was dropped today, why Bill Belichick wasn't the coach in ATL, and around the horn in Major League Baseball and the Caitlin Clark effect. Will it affect the TV ratings, good or bad? Obviously, it's already doing some pretty good stuff. And we'll get into the Jonte Porter betting, gambling, and ban from the NBA momentarily. Let's kick things off with the NFL. Round 1 of the 2024 NFL Draft is just around the corner. So we will give you our mock top 10 and talk about the recent ESPN.com article from Jeremy Fowler, Seth Wickersham, and Don Van Natter Jr. about why Bill Belichick wasn't the head coach in Atlanta. We'll start off with a couple draft notes. Remember the draft again, round 1 next week, April 25th at 8 p.m. in Detroit, Michigan. The Bears, Vikings, Cardinals each have 2 first-round draft picks. So, lots of teams, lots of needs, and it's really the official kickstart of the new NFL season. Guys, let's go into our mock top 10. Unless you got some other quick notes, fun facts around the league, go ahead and throw them there first. But I'll start this one out, man. I think the first one is probably the easiest first pick to decipher in quite some time. The Bears traded Justin Fields, and it leaves everybody wondering what's going to happen. No, it doesn't. It's going to be quarterback Caleb Williams out of USC. I think everybody's got that. I don't think I've seen a mock draft, without Caleb Williams there, except for some crazy clickbaiters. But 93 touchdowns over the last 3 seasons, tag along with 27 rushing touchdowns. Yeah, the guy scored enough touchdowns to warrant that number 1 draft pick, and he's won a Heisman Trophy to boot. So, yeah, he's my number 1 overall pick. Larry, I'm sure he's your number one. And if he is, tell us why, and we'll go to number two as well, and we'll get Wayne's opinion as well.
I mean, he's been the number one pick probably before the last college football season of 2023 into 24 started.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's known that he was going. As soon as Carolina and Chicago made that trade, it got Bryce Young to Charlotte for the Carolina Panthers, and the record that the Bears had, knew that they were secured. As soon as they secured it, everybody in the world and their mama knew that Caleb Williams was going to be the consensus number one pick. And for all the reasons you just mentioned, I really don't need to add too much more to that. He's already played in a pro-style system. He's got the tools. He's got the moxie. He's got what you want in a quarterback. Yeah, he got some quirky personas about him, but it doesn't matter when you talk about what he does when he produces on the football field. And that's why everybody in the world knows, unless Chicago finds a way to come away with a deal just like they did with Carolina last year, it'll be Caleb Williams, number one overall.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's any doubt there. Wayne, you have any doubts at number one overall, Caleb Williams, or even you saying Caleb Williams?
Well, I'm saying Caleb Williams, but for a moment I did think about Jalen Daniels and even J.J. McCarthy. And most of the reason I thought of J.J. McCarthy is because TC has filled my heads with all kinds of stories about how great he's going to be.
Hey, McCarthy could be the guy. I'm not as high on him as other mock drafters and critics are. I'm just not. I think when this is my criticism on J.J. McCarthy, when you run the ball the whole entire second half and don't throw it, it kind of questions my ability. If he's so good, why didn't they at least let him throw it 4 or 5 times just to pad the stats, keep his arm loose, whatever it was? But they had such a great offensive line, and he had such amounts of time to throw the football. When he did get hit, he did step in there and make some big-time throws, so I'll give him that. But, yeah, we all agree Caleb Williams, number one. Number two, this is where it gets kind of interesting. Some people have Drake May here. Some people have Jaden Daniels, the reigning Heisman Trophy winner. That's who I have. I have Jaden Daniels pairing up with head coach Dan Quinn. He had the best quarterback rating in the nation last year, 95.6. During his Heisman Trophy campaign, and a completion percentage of 72.2%. So it just lights out completion percentage from Daniels. The injury history is there, but he can make plays with his legs through the air, and he's been in college football for quite a while. He's transferred from Arizona State to LSU, so he's been through adversity. He's had to beat out guys. So, yeah, I like Jaden Daniels at 2 there. Larry, what say you?
Yeah, I'm the same, JJ. I think you gotta take the Heisman Trophy winner there at number 2. I think it's time to give the Commanders the opportunity to get another dual threat quarterback back there who's got the pocket presence, but he utilizes his legs as a way to open up throwing lanes, as opposed to most running quarterbacks that we see that just take off to run. Jaden Daniels runs or even scrambles just to make sure that he gets himself open to find a way to get a good run or passing lane to an open wide receiver or tight end. I think Coach Quinn wants to make a splash. I think, we called him Sergeant Slogan here in Atlanta when he was here. But given the facts of what Coach Quinn is, he is a leader of men. And what better way to tell the people of Washington, hey, I mean business about what I'm trying to do in building a team that's going to compete for a playoff spot in 2024 than to go ahead and select that next signal caller, and that's going to be Jaden Daniels.
Wayne, former Falcon head coach Dan Quinn, taking over Washington, has the number 2 pick. You agree with Larry and myself?
Well, yeah, of course that's going to be the guy that I'm going to go with next is Jalen Daniels, but I'm not such a big fan of Washington, and Dan Quinn is still kind of a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth, so I wish they would pick Bo Nix, and that way it could just be the Washington Traitors.
I like it. Patriots, 3 quarterbacks in a row. It's going to happen. This is where I have Drake May going out of UNC. Makes the throws under pressure. Had 10 touchdowns last season when pressured. That was the most in the country last year. And look, 6'4", 225 pounds, has the size to take some hits. And you obviously need that in this league as well. You got to have the durability. You got to be able to be there for 17 games. I think Drake May has that possibility and capability. And I do think he fits into Gerard Mayo's scheme up there. And this could be your future quarterback. He could be the guy for the next 10, 15 years if you hit correctly and get the right scheme and the right players around him. He does have Juju Smith-Schuster up there, a couple good tight ends to work with, and we'll see what the new era with no more Bill Belichick up there in New England. But I have Drake May kicking this thing off. Larry, what say you for number 3?
Y'all gonna laugh at me for saying this, man, but I'm telling y'all, New England has always been known for doing crazy things when it comes to drafting. I think this is where J.J. McCarthy goes.
Huh.
And not because I think he deserves it, but I think he fits the New England persona. You know, tough, hard-nosed. He played in cold weather. He's a game manager. He's not going to put you in a position to lose a game. I don't agree with the fact, I mean, he had, I think, like almost right at 3,000 yards his senior year there at Michigan with, I think it was like 25 touchdowns. I'm not sure off the top of my head. But Gerard Mayo, he's going to want somebody he can put the franchise's keys in the hands of and not worry about, are you going to be dedicated? Are you going to study the playbook? Are you going to come and lead these men on offense the way I would like to lead my whole team? I believe Coach Mayo is going to want somebody that reflects him. He fits the New England narrative, and I believe this is going to be the surprise pick for a lot of people, and it's going to throw the rest of the draft off from this point forward. I think it's going to be J.J. McCarthy, man.
I like it. Wayne, J.J. McCarthy for Larry. I got another quarterback. You have 3 quarterbacks going in a row.
Yeah, I went ahead and took Drake Mayo for that 3rd spot there with New England. And I'm wondering now if Miss Jefferson is going to be able to tell that I cheated off your list, because I don't need another 0 on one of these assignments.
I think a lot of people are going to have the same list because the top draft, the top end talent in this draft is pretty easily gradable. For my 4th overall, I had the Arizona Cardinals selecting arguably the best player in this draft, wide receiver Marvin Harrison Jr. from Ohio State. This might be the easiest pick besides number 1. Cards need a wide receiver. They got Greg Dortch, Chris Moore, Michael Wilson, Trey McBride here. Honestly, man, Trey McBride showed some poise, but it wouldn't surprise me if the Cardinals selected Brock Bowers here, talking about getting chaotic in Larry's terms with J.J. McCarthy. If things do get chaotic, don't be surprised if the Cardinals do something crazy and draft Brock Bowers, who is arguably on some people's boards the 2nd best player, even 3rd best player in this draft. So, I got Marvin Harrison Jr., in my opinion, the best player besides Brock Bowers in this draft. Larry, what say you at 4?
Yeah, I agree with you there, man. You got to take it, man. You got to give Kyler Murray a top wideout to be able to create a downfield connection with. And what better way to do that than to taking the best, to me, consensus overall athlete player in this year's draft in Marvin Harrison Jr.
Wayne, what say you? You got the Cardinals drafting Marvin Harrison's son?
Cardinals, or are we going with New York?
Going Arizona first. Cardinals are 4.
Yeah.
All right. I got a trade at 5. So if you guys saw that one in my mock draft, the Chargers are supposed to be picking 5. The Arizona Cardinals are at 4, and that's where we're going with right now, Wayne.
Okay, yeah. Well, then Ozuna is the one that he played with Washington, right?
Rome Odunze.
That's the one.
So you're taking him over Marvin Harrison Jr.
I think it's mostly because of his with the Washington being in that championship game.
Hey, anything happens. Look, we don't know what these GMs are doing. They know their needs. They know the tape. They know who's going to fit their system better than we do because their jobs depend on it. Number 5, I kind of already broke the ice. I got a trade here, guys. I think this is, I normally don't call trades, but I think the Vikings move up. They trade with the Chargers. I'm not going to predict what they trade. I'm not going to do all that nonsense, but I do predict a trade. Minnesota trades with LA. The Vikings move up and get J.J. McCarthy here out of Michigan. And look, if this isn't a trade, if Jim Harbaugh doesn't get what he wants, I feel like he'll just simply protect his biggest asset, which is Justin Herbert, and draft the best offensive tackle in the land, which is Joe Alt out of Notre Dame. So that could happen as well. But I'm going to predict. That's what we're doing. We're predicting here. We're making picks. Predicting a trade. Minnesota comes in and takes J.J. McCarthy at number 5 overall. Larry, what say you?
Man, it's like you've been thinking in my back pocket, but I'm so where you are. I do believe that's the spot that Minnesota is going to try to target and trying to draft up to grab their next signal caller. But I think theirs is going to be Drake May from North Carolina. If they don't do that, I'm agreeing with you with the best big tackle in the game is Joe Alt. Now I think they may even try to do that if they stand pat, because Justin Herbert really hasn't had the offensive line to be able to do what he needs to do to show off the skills that he's been blessed to have. And I think, you can put this any kind of way you want to, but you got to have your quarterback upright. You can't have him taking the hits that he took last year and think that he's still going to be an all-pro level quarterback. So the best way to do that, if they do decide to stand pat and stay right there at that 5th spot, they will take Joe Alt out of Notre Dame. I do believe that, JJ. So I'm right there with you.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting here. Wayne, what say you? I'll let you get your Chargers pick at number 5, and then I'll go ahead and give my last 5, and we'll speed it up that way.
Okay.
Wayne, go ahead and give us your Chargers, or did they trade it as well in your book?
Well, no, I think I'm going to have them sitting at 5 because that's what I planned on. But I'm thinking they're going to pick Marvin Harrison Jr. out of Ohio State, whichever one it is.
It's not a bad play there. They may take a receiver. Who knows? They lost Keenan Allen, traded him to the Chicago Bears, and that's another reason why I think Caleb Williams is solidified at number 1 there. And partially back at number 9, would the Chicago Bears come back in the first round at 2 with their original pick. But yeah, no, guys, I'll go 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 here real quick just to speed things up. Giants wide receiver Malik Neighbors out of LSU. That's who I got the Giants drafting out at 6. Daniel Jones is coming back. He's owed a lot of money. I don't think they go quarterback here. It would shock me if they did. Why not get him the weapons to succeed? At 7, the Tennessee Titans. Again, if the Chargers don't trade, Alt might be off the board here, but I'm predicting the trade there. So the Tennessee Titans select offensive tackle Joe Alt from Notre Dame. Tennessee's O-line was atrocious last season. This guy will probably come in and start right away. Started 33 games at Notre Dame, allowed only 2 sacks the last 2 seasons. Got the shirt on for a reason, folks. This is why we're doing a mock draft top 10, get a couple other teams in. But look, we all care about the Falcons. I've been high on Dallas Turner since last season. The guy is an impact player, 6'3", 247 pounds, 10 sacks last season. He was the best athlete at his position, running the fastest 40 as a defensive end at 4.46, and had the highest vertical at 40.5 inches. Freak athlete, 8th best pressure rate in college football last season at just over 16%. So I like Dallas Turner, the edge rusher, as the Atlanta's 8th overall pick. Going back to Chicago, the Windy City, I have Rome Odunze coming off from Washington, going and pairing with Caleb Williams. Yes, the Bears have DJ Moore and Keenan Allen, but Allen will be a free agent in 2025. And you can get a 3rd wide receiver to pair with them, learn by them, and heck, maybe you can sign them all long term, and you have just a trio of wide receivers, and that way Williams has no excuses not to succeed. And again, Rome, he had 13 touchdowns last season for the Huskies. And I have Brock Bowers coming off in our mock draft, number 10 overall, to the New York Jets. Again, Brock Bowers out of University of Georgia. He's an elite playmaker, and in my opinion, was the best college football player over the last 2 seasons. 26 receiving touchdowns at UGA to pair along with 5 rushing touchdowns. Kid can do it all. Adds another weapon for the Aaron Rodgers comeback tour. That rounds out my 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Larry, you do the same, and then we'll throw it to Wayne, and we'll talk about this Bill Belichick article real quick.
All right. I have the New York Football Giants at number 6 with the 2024 NFL draft. That pick, I think they are going to select Brock Bowers. I think this is the season where Daniel Jones needs to prove the $40+ million contract that he signed and not have lived up to this point, with the free agent signing of Saquon Barkley going to the Eagles. They need all the weapons that they can get, and what better way to be able to tell everybody that we mean business and we're going to try to do the best we can than to take, to me, the second best player on the board for the New York Football Giants in the person of Brock Bowers out of the University of Georgia. At number 7, for me, is where things start to get shaky, because my heart says they are probably going to, Tennessee is probably going to have to go either offensive line, but this is where I select edge rusher Dallas Turner out of Alabama. I think they are going to continue to try to beef up that defense, to do everything that they possibly can to come away with an AFC South playoff berth. I'll continue to roll on with the Falcons. For me, Falcons select out of Iowa defensive back Cooper DeJean. I do not believe they are going to sit there. And I'm going to tell y'all, we know the Falcons need edge rush. I just don't think the top edge rushers here and Dallas Turner, Jared Verse, and Latu are top 10 NFL prospects in this year's draft. I think if I'm the GM, if I'm Terry Fontenot, I'm looking to trade back, grab an extra second or third rounder, and do some stuff and some damage that way. But I'm selecting Cooper DeJean, playing opposite of AJ, and help AJ get that AJ Terrell and help round out that Falcons secondary. In the 9 spot, I think, everybody's picking toward Odunze. I can't argue that play. You get a proven weapon that is one of the best pass catchers and showed itself worthy even in the midst of the season that the Washington Huskies had. It puts yourself in that position. They do very, very well. I think he'll go at the 9 spot. 10, I'm going edge rusher Jared Verse out of Florida State. Y'all laugh at me because I'm crazy, but I'm telling y'all, the dude's motor is relentless. He is absolutely relentless, and people up north, man, they love that kind of stuff. They love people. You look at the way that people love what all the Georgia Bulldogs that are playing for the Philadelphia Eagles, and you see the way Jalen Carter, Nakobe Dean, big Jonathan Davis in the middle, and the way that they just love the people that rush up there. The Northerners love people with attitude and hunger, and I don't think there's a player with a bigger motor in this year's draft on the defensive side than Jared Verse. So that rounds out my 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Wayne, it's on you, my guy.
Well, things went a little bit sideways with me because of all these trades and everything. But I think number 6 Chargers are going to go with J.J. McCarthy. Titans, and this is going to sound weird, but J.C. Latham from Alabama. Falcons, Dallas Turner. Bears, Joe Alt. And then the Jets are going to be Brock Bowers.
Yeah, Larry, you and I both agree that New York passes on the quarterback and tries to build around Daniel Jones and get him another offensive weapon at some point. And we're both extremely high on Brock Bowers as well. And I don't mind the Cooper DeJean pick out of Iowa. Definitely pairing with A.J. Terrell would be a huge asset for Raheem Morris's new look defense. Guys, let's talk about this article real quick. Recent ESPN.com article and what it says about Bill Belichick. Guys, your thoughts real quick on it. Larry, I'll get yours first. We don't have to spend a lot of time on it, but I just thought this article was extremely interesting.
No, it was. It was very interesting. And I took time during my lunch break today to really go through it. And two really key points, and I won't spend all day on them. Number one, if what Robert Kraft did is accurate, that is, oh man, that's the ultimate knife in the back of somebody that brought you 6 titles. You know, and that's just dirty. You can't, that man made you who you are because he brought the titles to your city. You know, so why in the world would you do somebody that has done so much for your organization and then not only throw them under the bus, but then back up and roll it under the bus to make sure it got the 2 tires? You know, that's just, you know, that's bad business. You know, it's just bad business all the way around. Secondly, we know Bill Belichick is set in his ways, but at the same time, you have to know that even though his skill set will never change, the hoodie is one of the most genius coaches that has ever graced the fields of the NFL Shield. At a point in time, old school, new school, there becomes a disconnect, and you got to get somebody that can pull everything together. What I ultimately think will happen is the hoodie will get this year off, and then his phone will ring because we know how many coaching vacancies was it this offseason? Like 10.
Yeah,
you know,
it was double digits, I think, close to it. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, so I think that his phone will ring, but overall, the gist is that's just bad business, man. You don't do anybody like that in corporations, much less in sports franchises. You don't do the coach like that helped bring the notoriety to your team when you was a doormat dweller, probably since the '85 season when you went to the Super Bowl. So yeah, I just think it was just a dirty look all the way around, JJ.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. I read the article about 6 times just to kind of fully grasp it. It's really long. It's really got a lot of fluff in it, to be honest with you. I'm 100% in agreement with you. I don't think what Bill Belichick's, he may have been a little aggressive in press conferences or lack the personality of a fun-going coach. But to do exactly what the article mentioned, and according to all these sources, Kraft said this to author blank, don't do this. He's arrogant. He's this. He's that. You can read the article yourself on ESPN.com. But to go into that, again, the guy that brought you 6 championships, what did they play in? 9 or 10 of them, 7 of them, whatever it was. Not 9 of them. I think it was 6-3 in title games. Yeah, he lost to Foles once and Manning twice. So, 9 Super Bowls. He's won 8 of them as a coach, 2 as an assistant, 6 as a head coach. To bring you that amount of success to, again, like you said, Larry, a bottom-feeding organization until the early 2000s, to me is eye-opening because it seemed like Bill Belichick thought he had this job in Atlanta. And then all of a sudden, Arthur Blank calls Robert Kraft and this guy and that guy, and people are like, oh, yeah, he's this, he's that. And to me, it just rubbed me the wrong way. I don't know. There's been a lot of information. Remember, Boomer Esiason said Bill Belichick turned the job down. There's tons of information out there, but I just think trying to smear Bill Belichick's name or his personality for winning 6 Super Bowls and being one of the greatest coaches of all time, the second winningest coach in NFL history, I just thought it was pretty overall interesting on both sides from whichever way you look at it. It is a interesting article, and I don't know if I believe it 100% because I don't think Bill Belichick's a bad guy. He's been in this business for nearly 50 years as an NFL head coach, assistant coach, all the way down, and you don't get somewhere, you don't stay somewhere that long with the same company in the NFL unless you have a good reputation. So I'll leave it at that. Let's move forward. talk some Major League Baseball right quick. Nearly 20 games into this Major League Baseball season. Braves, Brewers, Dodgers stand atop the National League, while the Rangers, Guardians, and Yankees sit atop their divisions in the American League. Let's go around the horn of Major League Baseball, guys. Wayne, your biggest surprise team so far. We'll do a surprise and a disappointment. Go ahead and start with your surprise team, man.
Well, this is going to sound weird that I say it's a surprise because I picked them to win their division. I just didn't know they were going to actually be in contention. But Kansas City Royals is the biggest surprise for me.
It's one of my surprises, too, sitting there in second place with 11 wins. I had them as a team to look out for that added a lot of talent. And we joked about Will Smith going there, winning his 4th ring. But, hey, if they put it all together, anything and everything can happen. Who's your biggest disappointment thus far?
Oh, St. Louis. I don't know what, and they're really not doing bad technically, but it seems like everybody in their division is doing pretty well, and it's put them in the basement once again. But, for them to have been such a baseball powerhouse for so long and then 2 seasons now, they're just I feel like they're out there trying to find shark's teeth instead of playing baseball.
It's interesting. The NL Central, not a lot of people had that one circled as one of the best divisions to start the season off, but it is looking that way right now. Larry, your biggest surprise and disappointment thus far in Major League Baseball, in the Major League Baseball season?
Yeah, my biggest surprise, man, is the Cleveland Guardians. I did not see them playing this level of baseball this quickly. I figured it would be a dogfight between them and the Twins in the American League Central, but they are definitely my biggest surprise. I think they're like 12-4, 12-5 so far on the season. They're definitely my biggest surprise. My biggest disappointment up to this point has been the Houston Astros. And a lot of that has to do with injuries. But man, you think of what they lost in the offseason and not only just in terms of managerial, but in terms of the solid locker room guys and solid producers. But they've always been able to retool, and they've done that for like about the last 15 years. And you keep seeing, and I'll give you a perfect example. It's like looking at the Golden State Warriors in basketball. You've seen them win so much with Curry and Clay and Draymond. You just expect them to keep going. You don't ever really see the dynasty coming to an end, man. And to me, it looks like that's what's kind of unfolding before our very eyes there in Houston. I want to see what it looks like when they start getting to 100%. But so far, that's my biggest disappointment.
Yeah, not too far off from you. You mentioned the division earlier. Look, I think the biggest disappointment is the Minnesota Twins. I picked them to win that AL Central. They're batting just 195 as a team that's dead last in baseball, and they've only scored 56 runs up till this point of the season. So that's my biggest disappointment. And honestly, it's going to sound weird because I'm like you, Wayne. I picked the Braves to win the division, but they're my biggest surprise right now. And again, I know they're favorites, and I know it sounds crazy, but look, they've faced 3 stifling injuries already to their starting lineup. One for the season. Sean Murphy's looking like he's going to miss quite a bit of time, at least another 2 weeks or so, they think. And the Braves just lost second baseman Ozzie Albies, who's an all-star and really been a huge, huge addition at the top of the order at the beginning of the season last year, because Albies struggled at the beginning of the year last year. So here we are now, down Murphy, down Strider, down Albies. No problem. Absolutely no problem. 10-day IL for Albies, 10-day IL for Murphy. Again, Strider's out for the year. They're just first in batting average in Major League Baseball at .302. That's right, a team 300 batting average. On base percentage, they're first in that category too at .366. Slugging percentage, .491. Well, they're on top of baseball in that category too. Ronaldo Lopez, a 50, that's right, .50 ERA, 2-0, 6 base on balls with 18 strikeouts, only 1 earned run in 3 starts this season. Yeah, they're my most surprising team. They may be the local guys, and this is ATL Prime Sports, so it may be kind of obvious. But let me tell you what, that is surprising to me. Someone stepped up that nobody expected, and we're over here talking about get Trevor Bauer last week because the world's ending. No, I didn't really say that. I told you there's a lot of options last week. That's exactly what I said. If the Braves do, should they sign Bauer? Sure, it'll make them a better team. But if they don't sign Bauer, like I said, they're going to be just fine because they got guys like that. They got Smith Sauber. They got Bryce Elder. They got other guys. They got Dodd, Lee. They got Ian Anderson, who we mentioned, who will come back later this year. So they will be just fine. And that is super surprising to me, guys, that they haven't lost a step despite losing 3 key players. That's why they're my biggest surprise. Some quick news and notes, and we'll go over final thoughts on Major League Baseball right quick. Again, Ozzie Albies fractured big toe will move to the 10-day injured list. Astros pitcher Justin Verlander is set to make his season debut Friday. So maybe the Astros turn that disappointment around for you, Larry. Guys, any final thoughts on Major League Baseball before we move to our final topic, before our final thought?
Nope, not yet.
Larry's good too. All right, guys, let's talk about the WNBA, the NBA real quick. Caitlin Clark, the effect is real, folks. Will Caitlin Clark and the 2024 WNBA draft class make a difference in the TV ratings? Hell yeah, they will. They already made an impact on viewership with the WNBA draft. Hell, I watched it for 5 minutes just to see Caitlin Clark get called. I was jacked up about it. I was going to watch Angel Reese and company, but the Braves were playing, and I'd much rather watch baseball. But 2.45 million people watched Monday night, 5 times more than the prior season, and a 307% increase from the previous most watched draft, which was 2024. So, yeah, I'd say they've already made an impact. Larry, what say you?
No, you're definitely right, JJ. And to take that stat and add a little sauce and sprinkle a little seasoning on top of it, Caitlin Clark's Indiana Fever jersey topped the #1 all-time rookie jerseys across all major leagues: football, basketball, hockey, baseball, topping Trevor Lawrence, who had broken the record back in 2021. She scattered it. I'm like, y'all, this are we finally going to be in a position? You know, I wish they would adjust the season the way the WNBA season is, but are we finally going to be in a position to where you begin to see more and more people talk about the WNBA and in turn continue to grow the college basketball game, because there's names people can follow now. And I've said this several times during several shows. I think that is where the NBA's product is missing a huge opportunity, because no one can follow a team year to year because your roster turns over every year, you know? So, look, kudos to the ladies. It's y'all time to shine. I'm a firm believer that everything has a season, and I just believe it's the season for the WNBA as well as women's hoop to take advantage of all the media attention, all the notoriety, and the Caitlin Clark effect. You know, you see one of the biggest rivals that took place during the tournament with Angel Reese and then Perdoso being teammates now. So Chicago's doing great things. You know, it's crazy, but I'm looking forward to seeing what it's going to look like. I may not watch every game, but my interest level has peaked more than it has probably in the last 10 years. And I think that's what the WNBA is banking on, that people may not necessarily watch every game, but the viewership will increase just by notoriety and interest level alone.
I agree with you 100%. Wayne, your thoughts on the Caitlin Clark effect?
Well, you know, it is an effect, and I think it's also turned on a lot of people to some of the other players that played in the women's NCAA tournament and will be in the WNBA, you know, if not next year, in some point in the future. But you know what I would like to see on the women's basketball is I would like to see the color commentary and the play-by-play be done by Kim Mulkey and Dawn Staley, if that's possible, to get those two up in the booth calling the games. That would be excellent.
A couple more national titles between them, it might happen. They might just call it a career.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys. We'll stick with the NBA real quick. The NBA just sent and this broke earlier today. The NBA just sent a message about gambling to Raptors center Todd Corder. Thoughts on the lifetime ban? Good move here, if you ask me. Larry, what say you?
No, I'm definitely in agreement, man. It's just you just can't do it. You just can't do it, man. And I hate it for Michael Porter Jr. Because now, because of what his brother did, now people's eyebrows are gonna raise and be like, It doesn't take but one drop of ink to tarnish the whole glass of water. And I hate that it came about like this, but it was a necessary move by Commissioner Adam Silver. It did what they had to do. They reacted quickly and they reacted swiftly, and they reacted justifiably in this case. I hate it because gambling is taking over so much, but you don't want anybody to. Referees are already getting criticized for calls that they make throwing games because of gambling. You don't want any other allegations to come about as a result of the gambling era that we live in. So no, man, it had to be done, and it was done in a professional manner.
Yeah, no, it had to be done. You have to keep the integrity of professional sports. An investigation revealed Porter revealed confidential information to bettors, limited his participation in at least one game while with the Raptors, and bet on games while he was in the NBA's G League. So the NBA, again, they launched their own investigation back in late March. When sports books noticed irregular betting on the over-under for the reserve center in a two-game stretch, he didn't finish either one of those games, and he bet on at least 13 NBA games using an associate's online account. So those are the highlights of what's happened. He definitely got caught, and the NBA came down on him quickly, swiftly, and honestly, it had to be done. Yeah, again, it goes back to keeping the integrity of the sports. These guys know what's at stake. It's posted in every locker room. Look, just bet on a different sport, folks. It's okay to bet. Just don't do it at a facility and don't do it on your sport. So get out of the facility, go home and bet on the NFL, Major League Baseball, the NHL, anything else. You can still take on the gambling experience, but do it responsibly. And let's not hear any more of these irresponsible stories, because betting since 2018 has opened up wide amounts of avenues for the average gambler in many, many states, which has now opened avenues for professional sports players to take advantage of that as well. And let's hope that this number continues to drop. Guys, let's get to our final thought. Oh, Wayne has a hand raised.
Well,
go ahead.
Originally I wasn't going to make any comment on this, but I got to thinking about it. And the guy who got banned from the NBA, what was his number? Don't tell me it was number 14.
I actually am not familiar with this number.
Okay. Well, if it is 14, that would be.
I'm not good with numbers. I'm good with players and positions, but I do not know his number off the top of my head.
Well, the only reason I say that is because Pete Rose's number was 14, just about everywhere he was at, and so I didn't know if there was a connection there.
Hey, I'm about to go find out, but what we'll do is we'll go into the final thought real quick. Larry, go ahead and tee that final thought off, man.
I definitely will. His number, though, Wayne, was 34.
Okay.
For FYI purposes. Yeah, man. My final thought circles around the NFL draft, and we've been talking football so long. Mock drafts have been going bananas since the Super Bowl victory and the trophy was hoisted up. Heck, they had them out at the beginning of the college season. I am super excited to see the regime of Raheem Morris. I'm excited to see Thursday and Friday and Saturday about what they decide to do next week. And, we all know that are faithful followers for Atlanta. We all know what the Falcons need. I'm excited. I think the right guys are in the building to make the right choices that the team needs, and I'm pretty sure they, as well as us as fans, will hopefully find a sense of relief once those picks have been made, and we can get ready to look forward to the timetable to see the newest quarterback, Kirk Cousins, and if he's going to make any preseason run, or will he just have to wait until it's go time a couple of weeks in the season. So looking forward to the NFL draft, guys. Excited for Falcons country, Falcons nation, whatever you want to call it, and get your popcorn and get ready for next week. We're looking forward to Thursday night next week in Detroit.
Wayne, your final thought of the evening, my friend.
Well, my final thought circles around the Atlanta Falcons, and I really wish they would get away from those neo bizarro uniform font or whatever you call it, and go with something a little bit more old school, because I'm still having trouble reading them numbers. Maybe it's because I'm old. You never know.
Guys, my final thought revolves around Scotty Scheffler. He's a real sports icon. His priorities are in line. What's not to like about this guy? World number one in the golf rankings. Said he would leave the Masters with a lead to be there for his wife and soon-to-be newborn baby. What's not to like about that? Guy's got his priorities in line. Family, faith, his child, then golf, he says. 9 PGA Tour wins, 2 green jackets, joined the tour in 2020. More athletes should strive to be like Scotty Scheffler. Hats off on your second green jacket, Scotty. Guys, that wraps up the show. If you like the content, listeners, please subscribe. Follow us on all social medias at ATL Prime Sports and give us a thumbs up. Turn on the notifications so you get notified on our latest videos, and keep rocking with us. For Wayne in Memphis, Larry in Adairsville, Todd in Woodstock on vacation, I'm JJ in Lilburn. Until next week, everybody, get you one.